Hi folks, Rodney back again. Hey, today I'm going to kind of do a little follow-up on a video that I did last week. We were kind of talking about supply issues and delays of getting the new Tundra. And so a couple of things that have come up and a lot of comments that I've gotten from people watching the videos. You know, they're talking about they placed an order and it's been 6 months and time's gone by and they've got no update on what's going on with their vehicle and have no ETA on when their vehicle will be built. And so, I mentioned this before, I know some dealerships are taking orders telling them that they're going to get exactly what they want. And as I mentioned in the videos in the past, one of the things that people don't really take into consideration is that their vehicle cannot be built unless that dealership receives an allocation to get what they're looking for. And so, for instance, if somebody's holding out to get a 1794, their vehicle is not going to get built unless that dealership gets an allocation for a 1794 edition. And then there again, the color, sometimes the color holds things up as well. In all honesty, in the last 6 months, I've seen one allocation for a 1794 edition, and that's probably over 60 allocations. So, if you guys are holding out for a 1794, it could be in for a long wait. And I think part of that, and I mentioned this in the supply chain issues that we're having, is that, there's certain things that are holding things up. And I'll give you an example. The 1794 edition could be to the specific leather that they put in that vehicle. The other thing is, for instance, if somebody was holding out for trailer tow mirrors, I've not seen trailer tow mirrors on any of the allocations that we've received. Sunroof, unless you're getting a platinum edition, a lot of the vehicles are not coming with the sunroofs, even though they've been requested to have them put in. And there again, it's a supply issue. It's not Toyota not willing to build your orders or anything of that nature. I've had people from Canada asking me, is Canada having a longer delay than what people are, anywhere else? To my knowledge, no. I don't know that there's any restrictions or any issues that takes longer to get a vehicle in Canada than it does anywhere else. So no, I wouldn't think that. One of the things that I would ask the dealership when you're putting in an order, if they're doing that, ask the question, how many allocations are you guys normally receiving on a month for that specific model that you're looking for? How many people are currently on your waiting list? And so I kind of mentioned this before. So when somebody puts in an order, Toyota calls it a preference. You put the order in, you put in specifically what you're looking for. Now, as I mentioned, the dealership has to have an allocation, and Toyota's not going to build a vehicle unless they have all of those items that you want on that vehicle to put on it. With the supply chain issues like they are, it's any little thing. So for one item, it would hold up your order. And right now, with them being like it is, last month we didn't receive any Tundra allocations whatsoever. So it's tough right now. And if somebody's put in an order 6 months ago and they haven't had the order built, it could be in for quite a wait. The other thing too, I had a customer ask me, or another person watching the video asked me, if I don't get my vehicle built this year, will it be a 2023 model if it comes in next year? The answer is yes, it would be a 2023 model. The cutoff for Toyota in most cases, I'm not going to say for every specific model, but in most cases, if the vehicle comes in past November, more than likely it's going to be the following model year. And then, they're not going to make any changes from 22 to 23, so it would be just the difference of the model year itself. So, if you guys have any questions, I know quite a few people have sent me the VIN number on the vehicle they have coming in. There's only been one situation so far where the VIN number was invalid. And I don't know if that's because the dealership provided the wrong VIN number to that person or what have you. But even if it's a temporary VIN number, normally we can see it. We can kind of see what's going on in the process. We don't get a lot of information when we look in Toyota's system. It will kind of tell us when the vehicle is going to be built, or if it has already been built. It will let us know if it's already been shipped out, and kind of an ETA of number one, when it was shipped out. We typically know, and I'm in Oregon here, so I can't speak for every state, but typically from the time a vehicle is built till the time a vehicle arrives to the dealership, it's normally about a month. Now, different parts of the U.S. could be different. Shipping could take a little bit longer, but that's normally what it is for us. The other thing I wanted to kind of mention is that, you know, when people are waiting on vehicles, there is times where they will come up with one person called it a dealer hold. Sometimes Toyota calls it a quality hold. Excuse me. And what happens is they hold the dealership at the port before they actually release it to the dealership. And so what that typically means is that there's a recall of some sort that they have to do, or at least an inspection that they're going to do before it's shipped out. One thing about Toyota, they will not allow you to sell a new vehicle if there's an open recall on it. And like I said, in a lot of cases, you know, there's issues where obviously a few of them have had wastegate issues in the past. There's been a recent recall on the excuse me, allergies are horrible right now. There's been a recent recall on the backup camera, and I think it pertained more to the side view. But anyway, when you were backing up, they said that there could be an issue where the images wouldn't be able to see in the backup. I've not had that issue with mine, even though I've had a recall. To my knowledge, there's not a fix for it just yet. But anyway, in that situation, they would actually do an inspection or going ahead and perform the recall before it's actually released to the dealership. So if your dealership tells you that there's a quality hold or a dealer hold, what that means is they're holding it at the port until they can perform the inspection. A person asked, well, how long does that typically hold it up? Toyota says it can take up to 30 days, and what they tell us in the Toyota system is to check back every Friday for an update. Once it's actually been performed, they will go ahead and send an update in the system, and then it will go ahead and get shipped out to the dealership. Also want to cover briefly the different statuses. So you probably have your dealer telling you that, you know, it's in A status or it's in F status. And then ultimately what we want to see is in G status, which means it's on the ground. So A status means it's been allocated to the dealership. It can be in the process in several different areas when a dealership receives an allocation. Excuse me. Here's an example. So we just received an allocation for a Tundra. It says it's not going to be built until 7/15, and it shows us what dealership, where it's going to be actually built at. And of course, they're being built in San Antonio. The next one would be F status. So F status means they moved it. The vehicle's already been built. It's now in transportation. It's being shipped to the port, and then from the port, it's going to get shipped to the dealership. And then, like I mentioned, G status means it's on the ground. There's also one other one that's called GT, and that typically means that it's being shipped to the dealership, but it's on a truck at that time. There's no specific time frame on once a dealership receives allocation till when it gets delivered to the dealership. And the reason for that is depending on when the vehicle is actually going to be built. Now, some of them are going to be built and they give you the time frame, but some of them saying that they're going to be released or arrive at the port on a certain date, and it still shows in A status, which is in the allocated status. Usually within about 2 weeks from the time the vehicle's built, it moves into the F status, and then it kind of shows kind of a time frame on which it's going to arrive to the dealership. Toyota has kind of changed their system here recently. They used to give us an update where we could actually see excuse me, within a day or two when it was actually going to arrive. Now they're kind of doing a time frame, and I think that they're doing that just to not overpromise for the potential customer. But anyway, there again, it's like I said, once they give us that time frame, you know, it shows us probably like a week to a 2 week window. So if you guys have any question, anything else I can help with, don't hesitate to send me a comment. If you're not already a subscriber, please take the time to like and subscribe. Obviously you can see my count there. I'm not doing it for monetary reasons. I don't have enough subscribers yet. But you know, like I like I said, take the time, like and subscribe, share it with a friend, and help me get that subscriber count up. I'd obviously like to see some monetary value, and then I can maybe do some additions to the truck, which potentially would just, you know, help other customers. I will tell you that a friend of mine just purchased a TRD Pro, and he did put 35-inch tires on it, and he said he could do that without doing any modifications, and said it does not excuse me, does not rub in any way. So if you guys are thinking about doing it, he says you can do 35s, and that was on a TRD Pro. Keep in mind that the suspension is different, and it could allow you to put a little larger tire. But thanks again for taking the time to watch the video. If you have any questions, anything I can help with, put a comment in there, and thanks again.